Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Series X, and this is my Master Ninja difficulty Gaiden walkthrough. We're currently on Chapter 13 of 14. It is entitled The Underworld Abyss. So the strange thing about this chapter, as far as the placements of Muramasa's stores, well, I can't even speak about it being in the plural because you only get one store, and it's right here before you do anything. And you're going to have to do a lot on this level for fighting, and there are no other stores. There are some pickups here and there, but no other stores to speak of. So you're going to have to be really careful about not using items as much as possible. Now, I don't know how to feel about these rooms. Sometimes I think they're interesting. Sometimes I just think they're too awkward and restrictive. But you're going to have two rooms with the marionettes. You'll want to use the windmill shuriken on these ones here, the marionettes. And the reason for that is sometimes you might get tempted to use the arrows for arrow UTs on these guys because it does work better, and as long as your auto target is accurate, which it usually is. If you're close enough to the enemy, he'll lock on perfectly fine. But you come into the situation here where your windmill shuriken, sometimes it works really well. Other times, they just keep blocking it. So it's kind of frustrating. That's why you might want to put on your scythe like I'm doing. And it does all have to do with their animations, what they're doing at the moment when you hit them with the windmill shuriken. For instance, when they do that dive bomb right there, you always can kill them with the windmill shuriken. Like when they're staked into the ground like that, the windmill shuriken works really good. The reason you might want to save the arrows is because you're going to be fighting some zombies coming up, and the zombies are I don't know if I'll say that they're best dealt with arrows, but arrows sure as heck help you deal with them, because you can shoot them from afar, and you can shoot them through each other, and you can stand back really far and not have to worry about them using their cannonball projectiles at you. So once you do clear all of the main rooms, you'll have another door to go through over here. And there's just more of the same over here. So it's two rooms of the marionettes, and then you'll go forward, you'll get a cutscene, and then you'll be fighting a host of the zombies. And if you want to use like 10 arrows here, it would be fine. I do think the arrows are more reliable than the windmill shuriken, because the arrows don't have to account for what phase the marionettes are in their animations. So he hits them no matter what. And the windmill shuriken, as good as it is, and it is good, it just has too much of a potential for them to block it. There's the cutscene. Sorry about that. And then you'll go into this room. Remember, they fire 2 cannonballs each time, so be careful. The best idea here is to fall back into the previous room that you were just in and just snipe them with arrows. There shouldn't be too many of these enemies. That if you have full max inventory of the arrows, that you'll run out. So you shouldn't run out here, especially when... do you know what the word piercing means in piercing kill? How you can shoot one and the arrow will go through another one. Sometimes I don't know how true that is when enemies are lapped over each other, so to speak. You know, enemy overlap, so to speak. But I can't speak for piercing kills, or the mechanic of piercing through one enemy and hitting another enemy that's overlapped with another one. I can tell you that once this room is finished, You'll probably have. Do you have more zombies after this? No, I think it's just one room of zombies. But I am going to switch to my Falcon's Talents because we have Gold Van Gelfs coming up. And if you want to, you can initiate this fight with the Piercing Void and see how lucky you can get with it. But I would save all my Nimpo for the Centaurs that are going to be coming up. So the threat about this room is that if you're following my strategy of just running back the way you came and throwing incendiary shurikens at them, they're going to be throwing their fireballs at you. And if you're keeping them off screen, you know how that can be. You're not going to know where the fireballs are coming, so you've got to micromanage here and adjust to any fireball that you see coming at you. I know that sounds like pretty poor advice, but it's a narrow room and it's quite difficult, and the auto lock on is poor at best, which is sad. It really is. Okay, so do not forget to use an herb over here, because there's a body over here that has an herb, and once you get to the Centaur fight, this area that we're in now is going to have a gate thrown up to it, and you will not be able to come back and pick up that herb that we just picked up. This is deceptive because sometimes you'll hear these guys coming from back of you, and then they'll do this where they're right in front of you. And I know, sound can be really subjective, but it should give you some visual indication, like when the screen is shaking, where they're coming from. But they're pretty tricky about that, and I do not like that. So over here, use the Inferno, because the Inferno will kill one of these guys each time. So that's 3 kills per use of it. And use the Staggered Essence to do the 360Y UT with the scythe. And that may be it. And the funny thing is, I almost got killed over here from the fish. See over to the right, it's a gate of branches. You can't go back and pick up that herb. But I almost got killed in there to the fish, and it was all my fault because I was not doing a proper combo that was effective over here. An effective combo would be square, square. I'm sorry, X, X, Y. Man, it's definitely one of those. Geez, I don't know how he lived over here. This is inexcusable on my behalf to play this poorly. But these fish are so aggressive. It's a shame that they put them here. I wish there was another weapon that worked better so that they wouldn't bite you like that. But over to the left of the save point, there's a grains. And so if you already have max inventory of grains and you're full up of health, you're going to get 7,000 from this box here. So that's 7,000. The chest to the right of that save has fish. I think it's only ever fish. This chest has 1,000 in essence or fish. So what you want to do on the chests that do have the fish, or the chest that has the fish and the money, is to manipulate those chests so that you don't get the money and also that you do get the fish. But that's not enough. You want to get the fish and get Nimpo drops from that, because if you had to deal with the Centaurs with a lot of Inferno, you're going to be in need of more Nimpo, and the fish are a pretty decent way of getting Nimpo back. So there's a fight out here that I don't really like. This fight, I mean, it's enjoyable when you get immersed into it, but I don't like the introduction of this fight because enemies are just too far away from you. And I believe I did I drop a windmill, wind blades over here? I think I must have. The reason I dropped a wind blades, guys, is that I know there's another mushroom coming up, so I can replenish that resource that I just used. Okay, so you can go back and save it now if you like. I got into a stubborn mentality where I didn't want to do that. So there's a couple of good ways to deal with these sacks over here. You can jump And, well, first of all, equip the tonfa. You jump, you hit the stacks a couple times, 2 to 3 times, depending on, well, I don't know what it depends on. It could depend on the enemy inside of it. But what happens is you do jumping attacks with the X button with the tonfa. And then when you know that the stack is going to burst, you do an on landing. And you'll always have time to do an on landing ET. Which, of course, is not as good as the UT, but the tonfa has such a powerful ET that you'll want to take advantage of it and be grateful that it's so strong, because it's incredibly strong. The good thing about the projectiles of the Resetsus over here is that they finally can't shoot through walls. You know, they've been doing that the entire fucking game, causing us problems. Now, again, if you want health from these guys, don't kill them with an OT or a UT. I actually got a blue drop from one of them, and I thought it was going to be more, but it's not that much. And that's the stronger version of the Resetsu too, that one. So fuck you. Hate that. And the reason you might want to go back and save it, sometimes these sacks are at different levels, and he has a problem hitting the sacks. So if you do have a problem hitting the sacks and you just can't make contact with it, switch, like I'm doing, to the lunar and do a 360 YUT on these guys. And remember earlier in the game when I was saying, when you do the 360 YUT and you don't tap the, you do the 360 YUT with the lunar on an enemy that you can't Azuna drop. And then if you tap Y, like I'm tapping Y right now, you don't know that I am, but I am. You deal more damage. I was trying to research that because when I heard myself, I was listening back to my commentary, right? And I heard myself say, you deal more damage if you tap the Y button on an enemy that you can't Azuna drop. You know what I think? I think I'll just call it wish fulfillment. That I was hoping and kind of wishing that if you tapped Y on a non-Azuna droppable enemy, you would deal more damage. So let's just be blessedly ignorant about that and just think that we do. Did you see that Fiend Ninja do a gleaming blade on me? I don't agree with the fact that you cannot counterattack that move that they do. Because couldn't you counter the gleaming blade in the other games? Like Black and so forth? It seems like you could. But don't forget to pick up the herb over here. It'd be nice if they gave you grains, but they have to give you a shitty herb. So again, just use aerial tonfa X attacks on these. And sometimes if you're not fast enough, like if you miss your on landing when you come down from that sort of thing, you're not going to get away with an ET, with a tonfa ET. You just will not have enough time. You barely have enough time as it is getting an on landing after you come down from those tonfa air X attacks. Okay, so I've been thinking a little bit more of that God of War 3. Remember I mentioned in the last video, I did God of War 3 Pain Plus like 4 years ago, and someone mentioned to me that I had parried a siren, and it was a violation. You know, sometimes you have to play by the spirit of the rules, not by the letter of the law or the rules, so to speak. Because it took me like 3 nights to do that endurance fight without getting hit, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I still was able to get through it. This must be a purple Resetsu over here. This one is it? Oh no, I guess it's just a regular purple Fiend Ninja. And sometimes the Resetsus, they can jump down here if you haven't killed them from a higher level. And I actually have not killed. See him up there? If you review the footage, I slid down the hill against my wishes before I was able to kill this guy, and I didn't want him throwing ISs at me from up there while I was focusing on dealing with this down here, which is it's really one of the hard things about it, and you might want to save before you go down here. You could also do I think you do the first floor, go back and save it as well. But once you do slide down the first hill, there's no going back. So that's what I meant to say. And if you are hitting, you can, if you're doing combo attacks, you can press the A button to get that Heavenly Justice dash. I don't know too much about the Heavenly Justice move. I learned it from JTB, and he's a big proponent of using it. But it can give you a figurative out and get you away from enemies while you're blocking. What it is when you're blocking and you press A, or when you're doing combo attacks and you press A. There's a timing to it, of course, and it's one of those things that you really need to get comfortable using it. And I'm definitely not there at this point using the Heavenly Justice. I just learned about it. I was watching JTB's survival missions, and I think he was talking about it on an actual survival mission, not just the mission mode. But anyway, what is in here? It's probably a Resetsu. That's why I'm charging my 360Y with the Lunar over here. But, also, don't worry about using all your Ninpo over here, because there's a chest coming up that's going to completely fill you back up with all of your used up Ninpo. So don't worry about that. And that's one of the reasons why on the last Resetsu... Is this the last Resetsu? If it is, you'll see me use Piercing Void on him. Piercing Void, sorry. Multiple times over. And sometimes if sacks are too close to one another, you might inadvertently... I think I'm going to use a heal here. Unless I slide down the hill. But it was funny a moment ago. Fuck. It was funny a moment ago. You know that IS Ninja that I was not able to hit a few minutes ago? He was on an upper level when I slid down that hill. I'm trying to get a blue from this guy. He's not going to give me it, though. But I think one of the Resetsu's projectiles ended up killing that purple Fiend Ninja. So, of course I'm not going to get any essence from it. And you can use the incendiaries down here, too, if you want to. That's why... Try to save, at least half of your incendiaries for down here. I don't think I ever used incendiaries on these ones, but here I'm switching to the Dragon Sword because it has an easy Azuna drop to use. Well, not to use, but to input. And if I have any IS ninjas with their legs cut off, I can quickly do a flying swallow and cut them in half. That's a good way of dealing with them like that, because otherwise it would take 2 Azuna drops or 2 flying swallow Azuna drops. So don't sleep on that on landing ET, because it's so good with the Tonfa. One of the bad things about... Oh, this is going to take 3 fucking moves here. It took 3... Or did it take 4? No, I think it was 3 flying garland drops to kill him. And he already had his legs cut off, didn't he? It was ridiculous. Flower garland drop, if you want to know with the Tonfa, it's XX, forward, XY. And... Sometimes when I'm scrolling through the menu, it takes a long time to get back to the weapon that I had. Sometimes they put it at the far end. I don't know what they do with that, but I'm thinking this has just regular enemies. No. It doesn't matter, though, because the time... I don't know what takes away more health from this guy. A 360 lunar ET... Well, not... Let's just talk about UTs. If a 360 lunar UT will take more away from this guy than a Tonfa UT. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the lunar will take more damage from him. Okay, so we done? I think I'm going the wrong way. I apologize about that, folks. But now we need to go back to where we came. And, oh, we're not done. We're not done. And now I'm not able to hit this, so I'll probably switch. Yeah, I can't hit it. I don't know. It has something to do with the slope that you're on. And, you know, that could compromise your ability to use air X attacks with the Tonfa. So I'm going to switch to this. And it's always nice when it's just one of them. So I don't think this is a Risetsu. I think the last one is a Risetsu. I'm going to say this, and I probably shouldn't say it, but you don't have to fight the last Risetsu. You can, if you run away from him, not run away from him to the save statue, although it could work. But if you run out to the area where the mutant bats are at, you know, next to that place where you jump down and fight Alexei, this guy will disappear, so you don't have to fight him. But since we have plenty of Nimpo, and since we know that we're going to be getting all of it back fairly soon, we can work on this guy with you know, charged attacks when we're able to, and when things get too close for comfort, we can just use the Void on him. I don't like aiming with the Void. I think it auto-aims perfectly well enough. So he's taunting, he's getting health back, he's throwing projectiles. And I need to finish him off because I didn't dare parry right there. Okay, so that should be it. Okay, now we go over here, and now we save. Okay, Alexei. As you know from fighting him before, he grabs a whole hell of a lot. So the move that I'm going to be doing on... Oh, here's the Nimpo, by the way. Okay, I have the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, but I reset and started with the Dragon Sword each time. So the move that I like to do on this guy, I don't know if it has an official name, but it is X, Y hold, Y, Y, Y. And it's a pretty damaging move on him. You just have to be dancing with this guy, so to speak, while he punches you. Just do the timeless dance of waiting for him to do his punches, and then when he stops, go in for that move that I mentioned. Now he's gonna grab you. It's just what he does. But the nice thing is, even if I can speak for getting grabbed is nice, but it does have a silver lining, I guess. Because you can use the Inferno after every grab that he does, and it takes off damage from him. Now you've got to beware that he is incredibly fast, and when he does his dash across the screen, it's just one dash. When he throws the skulls, you need to evade the skulls, and then he'll attack you real quick. You need to evade him at the last moment. And then when he gets into Berserk mode, you'll want to switch to the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. Flying Swallows work wonderfully too with both those weapons. We want to be doing the rotating Y attack with the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. Just go up to him. It looks like he's got some armor at first, but just keep repeating this process. And if you're not comfortable dodging his attacks, just throw Nimpo. And that is Alexei. And that is Chapter 13. We only have one chapter left. So here's the scorecard. And in short order, we'll see our rank. And in short order, I will see you. So until we do see each other again, please continue to take care.